What if I told you the worst moment of my life happened on the day I thought I had finally won? The sound came first, a sharp click. Before I could react, my wrists were locked in handcuffs. Cold, heavy, way more final than it should have been. 2 police officers gently but firmly guided me down the front steps of my own house. The same steps I had scrubbed clean just weeks earlier. Barefoot, laughing, holding a paintbrush in one hand and my keys in the other. The first thing I had ever owned without permission, without help, without explanation. This house wasn't just property, it was proof I had made it out. Across the street, my brother stood perfectly still, arms folded, calm, not confused, not surprised. He looked prepared, like this was something he'd rehearsed. Behind him were my parents, silent, watching, not asking questions, not stepping forward. "He used family money," my brother told the officers evenly. "That house belongs to the family fund." That phrase again. The family fund. A label they reached for whenever independence made them uncomfortable, whenever something didn't pass through their hands first. I looked at my mother. I wasn't looking for rescue, just hesitation, doubt. Anything that said this had gone too far. She turned her head away. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I let the officers guide me into the back of the patrol car while neighbors watched from their windows, pretending not to stare. The door shut. The engine started. And that's when the thought settled in, clear, steady, sitting heavy in my chest. They think they're taking my house. But by calling the police, by choosing accusation over conversation, by putting this claim into an official report, they had made a mistake that couldn't be erased. Because once something like this is written down, it doesn't fade. It doesn't soften. It stays exactly where it is. And sitting in the back of that car, staring at the reflection in the window, I already knew exactly who I was going to call. I made one call that turned their accusation into a permanent record. And that's when the balance of power quietly shifted. The holding cell smelled like disinfectant and something older I couldn't place. I sat on the metal bench, wrists still aching, staring at a blank wall that offered no sense of time. Everything slowed down in a way that felt deliberate, like the building itself wanted me to sit with what had just happened. Their voices replayed in my head. My brother's calm certainty, my parents' silence. They hadn't questioned him. They hadn't hesitated. They had let the accusation stand. An officer eventually opened the door. "You get one call." That was it. I stood there for a second longer than I needed to, because making that call didn't guarantee anything. If the wrong assumption was made, if one detail was missing, this could harden into something permanent in the wrong direction. I didn't call family. I didn't call for comfort. I called the attorney who handled my house closing. She answered, but not with reassurance, just a pause. "They arrested you," she said. "Yes, they're claiming the house belongs to a family fund." Silence again, longer this time. "Did you use any shared accounts?" "No." "Did you sign anything granting them interest?" "Never." Another pause, then carefully, "I need to see the paperwork." That was all she offered. No promises, no confidence, just process. Time stretched again. I didn't know how long passed. Somewhere outside the cell, doors opened and closed. Footsteps echoed. Voices murmured. And somewhere in the building, paperwork was being filed without me in the room. That part scared me the most. Because once documents start moving, intent stops mattering. It took longer than I expected before she was allowed in. When she finally sat across from me, she didn't rush. She didn't look angry. She looked focused, like someone stepping into a situation that had already crossed a line. "They escalated this fast," she said quietly. "Too fast." "What does that mean?" I asked. "It means," she replied, lowering her voice, "if they're wrong, this doesn't just disappear." She slid a thin folder onto the table. Not thick, not dramatic, just enough to matter. "I don't know yet who this hurts," she continued. "That depends on what these records show." I stared at the folder, realizing something uncomfortable. This call hadn't saved me. It had only started something. And until we knew exactly where the money came from, I wasn't sure who would still be standing when it stopped. Because the first page she opened wasn't about the house. It was about money they swore never existed, and it had dates on it. The first page didn't explain anything. That was the problem. It was just a ledger printout. Clean, ordinary, columns, dates, amounts. The kind of document you'd ignore if you didn't know what to look for. My attorney didn't speak right away. She traced one line with her finger, then another. She checked the date, went back, checked it again. "That's not possible," she said quietly. My stomach tightened. "What isn't?" She turned the page toward me. "This transfer happened 18 months ago." I frowned. So, she said, choosing her words carefully, "your family claims the money used for the house came from a shared fund. But this account was active long before the purchase, and it doesn't behave like a family account." "What does it behave like?" She hesitated. "Like something intentionally separated." That was the first crack. Not the truth, just a fracture. She flipped to the next page, another transfer, different amount, different date, same destination. "These aren't last-minute movements," she said. "They're scheduled, planned." I felt something cold settle in my chest. "They told me there was nothing left." She didn't respond immediately. She was still reading. "Who told you?" she asked. "My parents, after my grandmother died. They said the trust was exhausted." That finally made her look up. "Exhausted doesn't look like this," she said. She slid the papers back into the folder and closed it. Slowly, like she didn't want the room listening. "This doesn't prove ownership yet," she continued. "But it does disprove one thing." "What?" "That the money came from them." That should have felt like relief. It didn't, because if the funds weren't theirs and they weren't shared and they weren't recent, then the question wasn't how I bought the house. The question was why they said I couldn't. She leaned back slightly. "There's another issue," my breath caught. "What now?" "These dates overlap with something else," she said. "Something filed years ago." "What was filed?" She met my eyes. "A modification." The word landed heavier than it should have. "A modification to what?" I asked. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she gathered the folder, stood up, and said, "Before I say anything else, I need to confirm something." "Confirm what?" "Whether they forgot," she said carefully, "or whether they assumed you'd never find this." I sat there, realizing the story I'd believed my entire life was missing years, not details, but time. And whatever happened back then wasn't an accident. Because the next document wasn't about money at all. It was about something they changed without telling me. She didn't open the folder right away. Instead, she set it between us and folded her hands on top of it, like she was deciding how much could be said out loud. That pause told me more than the papers ever could. "This document isn't about money," she said finally. "It's about authority." I didn't respond. I didn't trust myself to. She slid out a single page. No letterhead I recognized, no dramatic language. Just formal wording and dates that didn't match the story I'd been told my entire life. "This was filed years ago," she said. Quietly. "What was it?" I asked. "A change," she replied, "to who could decide things. And when..." My pulse picked up. "Decide what things?" She pointed to a line instead. "A clause, the kind you skip when you assume nothing bad will happen. This allows someone to act on your behalf," she said, "under specific conditions." I looked at the page. "What conditions?" she exhaled. "Incapacity, dispute, risk." None of those words fit me, not then, not ever, at least not the way they were being used here. "They usually call this protection," she added. "That's how it's framed." "Protection from what?" I asked. She met my eyes. "From acting without oversight." The room went quiet. "This doesn't prove intent by itself," she said carefully, "but it does show preparation. Prepared, not reactive, not accidental. Once something like this exists," she continued, "it changes how later actions are read." "Like calling the police," I said. She nodded. "Exactly." The pieces didn't lock together yet, but they were close enough to recognize. The house, the accusation, the timing. "This document doesn't stand alone," she said. "It connects to the account, the dates, the escalation." "And if it connects?" I asked. "Then intent becomes relevant," she replied, "and courts pay attention to intent." I leaned back slowly. They hadn't needed me to fail. They just needed a reason. Outside the room, phones rang, doors opened, voices passed. The system was awake now. She closed the folder. "There's one more thing." "What?" "They didn't just file this," she said. "They renewed it." My throat tightened. "When?" She checked the date. "Less than a year before you bought the house." The air felt thinner after that, because whatever this was, it wasn't old. and it wasn't forgotten. And that's when I understood something clearly. The house wasn't the target, it was the trigger. Nothing dramatic happened at first. No apology, no reversal, just silence, the kind that feels heavier because you know something is moving somewhere you can't see. I was released the next morning without ceremony. A signature. The cuffs removed. No explanation like the night before hadn't mattered. But it had. By then, the process had already detached itself from everyone involved, including me. Outside, my phone kept vibrating. Messages, missed calls, notifications stacking. My brother was already reshaping the story online. Careful wording, concerned tone. We were just trying to protect what's ours. My parents stayed silent. They always had. The attorney ignored the noise. She watched something else. The court accepted the filing, she said later, calm, precise. The review clock has started. What does that change? I asked. It means no one controls this anymore. From that point on, things moved without permission. Records were pulled, timelines compared. The arrest report flagged not emotionally but procedurally. My brother called. I didn't answer. Conversation no longer mattered. 2 days later, he came to the house alone. No police. No accusations. Just standing on the porch like someone waiting for access he no longer had. You escalated, I said. So did the system. He didn't argue. He just looked uncertain. The court date came quickly. Not from urgency, but because misuse accelerates review. Systems don't like being dragged into personal disputes. Inside the courtroom, no one raised their voice. Documents spoke. The ledger, the dates, the modification. The renewal, the ruling was simple. The property stayed mine. The civil claim was dismissed. The criminal escalation was referred for further review. That last part changed everything, because referrals don't argue. They don't threaten, they wait. Outside, my attorney said quietly, "This doesn't move fast, but it doesn't move backward." For the first time since the handcuffs closed, I understood something clearly. They hadn't just lost the house. They had lost control. They thought the house was what I'd fight to keep. They didn't realize it was what finally let me walk away, while the system stayed behind to finish the rest.